guys, this is Tim again from Lowe's Southern Farm. Well, we're back. I know it's been probably a week or so since I've done a video. It's been kind of cold, wet, rainy. We have been working on the farm, but I didn't really want to get the camera out. It's already just completely a mud hole still out here. We've had, I don't know how much rain, probably close to about 6 or 7 inches if I had to bet. So, what we're going to do today is I'll kind of show you guys what we've got finished. We're going to go ahead and start trying to finish off this first little run of fence. I'll kind of take you around and show you guys what all we've done. We have quite a bit done. We got some concrete that I picked up yesterday and going to work on getting it in the ground today. So, as you can see, our fence progression right there. Got quite a bit done on the fence. I've actually already, as you've seen in the last video, installed the gate for that fence. I got that installed. We got the fence drug out next to it so that we could get that tightened up. We tried to get that done last weekend. Got all of our stuff done for our T-posts as far as like getting the fence attached to the T-post. Now, essentially what we done is, I tried stretching it, made a fatal mistake. Should have done this probably, if I'd had the cash flow, would have done this probably back in June or July of last year, just because it's hard to get anything to set up in concrete, and I knew that going in, and I knew that might be a problem. And I was hoping to get these poles set up in concrete over here. Let's see, I'll show you what I'm talking about here. See these poles right here? So I was hoping to get those set up. As you can see, I put some fence posts, some steel fence posts around them. I've been finding out little things as I go along through this whole process. I have put up, 2 fences before, but we've never really stretched them to get them tight to keep livestock in. They were pretty much just dog fences. This is a totally different story, so you kind of learn as you go. So just keep that in mind. If you start fencing and stuff like that, you kind of have to learn as you go, and just kind of think about stuff before you go and do it. Sometimes you try it and it works, sometimes you don't. Just like this, how I've done these fences right there. There we go. Still getting used to this camera. So still, as you can see, we put everything, put it beside of it. We did nail it to the fence. We put some wire. We wrapped the wire around it right there to hold that tight. Now it's super tight right now. So nothing's going to get out of there. At least that's our hope. We are going to put electric around all this. That's still in the works. That's something that we're going to probably try to do this weekend. And I might show you guys on the video what we're doing there. So the type of electric stuff that I got is, it actually has a thread on the back of it. You put it on the T-post, you thread it on the T-post, and it holds it. I did see there's different kinds. You can get the snap-on kinds, and I've never tried those. I don't know how well those would perform, but in my brain, I just didn't think it would hold up as well as the ones with the threads. So I got the ones with the threads just to make sure that we could keep animals out. Because we're going to start this out with these goats, and then we're going to have chickens in here as well, which we're used to keeping chickens, but goats a little different. A lot different actually to deal with than chickens. So we're not starting this out with a quote-unquote guard dog, so I'm having to kind of improvise and make sure the fence is up to snuff to hold them in, and plus to keep anything out. So that's the reason we're wanting to stretch the fence super tight as we can get it, and then we're also wanting to put electric around it just to help keep animals out that we don't want in here, like stray dogs and stuff like that. And like I said in earlier videos, we do have dog issues around here in the place that we live, and that's okay. I understand. Some people don't want to tie their animals up, and that's their prerogative and their business, but and then it comes on your land, it's a different story when it attacks your livestock. So we're trying to prevent that. That way, both sides of the fence, we don't have to worry about it. So we're going to add some electric fencing, and from what I've seen thus far, it seems like predators actually stay away from it. They pretty much know that's got a lot of electric on it, and I don't want to touch that. At least most of the dogs I've seen have not even, they just steer clear of the whole fence, period. And that's a good thing. I'm glad to see that. I'd much prefer to see that than see them try to attack the fence constantly to find a weak spot. So, now I don't know, how coyotes and things of that nature, that's a little different. If they're hungry enough, they'll try anything to get in. So we will probably eventually, I would just about bet money we'll have to get a livestock guardian at some point. We actually have a dog on the premises now, but he's not a livestock guardian, so we can't really necessarily use him for that. So once he has completed his task, pretty much to say, we'll probably end up getting a livestock guardian. The only reason I don't want to get one just at this point is because we don't already have him, and don't want to see no fighting going on in between dogs. So anyways, that's our fence update. I'll show you guys kind of what we're working on today. We got all this stretched, we got the gate put up, and we're going to be working on this next section. We actually already have it pretty much at least stretched out to where we can just lay it up, stretch it out, and do it that way. Now what we've done is, instead of us using a couple of set posts to stretch it really, really tight, instead of setting posts of concrete, since we couldn't do that, because not really cost wise, I mean, we could have went out and bought the big 8-inch round poles and concreted them in the ground. But the issue with that right now is it's so wet and so cold at night you can't really set them. And I have a problem because everybody's selling these animals right now because it's kidding season for goats, it's kidding season for lambs. You have a lot of people selling cattle now. If we wanted to go that route, see, we're looking at a lot of different options, and I know for a fact this fence will hold up to any one of those, but I'd really prefer to have goats or sheep, not really cows. We don't have the acreage for that, for one. I don't want them destroyed in the grass I'm going to plant later, so before we get them here. So that's another chore we got to do. So we've been working on this little pasture area off and on. Work kind of prohibits that. Anybody that works a job, you know what I'm talking about. It just is what it is. We're not full-time farmers or YouTubers for that matter, so we have to go with what we have right now, with the time that we have available, and try to squeeze in as much as we can. So it is what it is. It's no big deal. We just work around it. I've done it before in the past. We'll keep doing it until everything takes off. So anyways, what we've done, and I'll show this to you guys. Let me turn the camera around. What we've done is like a ratchet strap system. So this will be similar. This helps us get to a point where we can stretch. This actually holds. Now we will bring that post right there up and out of the way, because we've stretched it just about as far as we're going to stretch it. And what we've done, if you look down there, we have another pole. Let me take you guys down there, show you what I'm talking about here, so you can actually see what I've done. So I kind of had to improvise, and like I said, that's no big deal. Didn't really want to do it that way, but I don't have a choice. Like I said, with the with the weather way it's been, we've not had no choice but to do it this way. So you can see we've got our puller, and I did look on YouTube for this stuff, just so you guys know. I just didn't pull this out of my head. I'm not going to take credit for something like this. This is somebody else's idea. Very good idea, I think. But I kind of improvised a little bit, and I stretched it with the T-post. Now this T-post, I'll bring it up. They do make T-post pullers, so you can actually pull these. I've never used one, Don't know how hard it's going to be, how hard it would be to do that. Me, I'm using the tractor I have. That's the reason we got it, like I've said in past videos. So, not about to do things the hard way. Just kind of save my energy for more chores and get more done in a more effective way. So, anyways, we're going to use the tractor here in a little bit. We'll pull this up out of the ground and we'll start stretching this other line. Now, before we do that, we are going to take this one and this other fence, we get turned around here, this other fence up through here, and we're going to tighten it, and I'll show you how we're tightening it. Now, I mean, it is a lot better if you take it and actually stretch the fence as much as possible. I am sure that it's a lot better to do it that way. But this will hold up. I've seen other people do it. I've had family members that done it this way. It works. So that's the way we're going to go with it. Just to get it to where we can get our livestock in it. Because right now is the time to buy. A lot of people's buying them. Livestock, and we're trying to get to that point to where you can get them in here. We still got a lot of work to do. Don't know if we'll make it to that point. We'll find out. We are looking for some good Boyer buck is really what I'm after, and Kiko does for meat goats. That's really the route I really want to go. I think we can do well with those, and I think we can raise those fairly well, especially when we get our other fence done. We're not done fencing yet after this, of course. Like I said in the first video, we're going to fence in this whole back, and then we will finish fencing in the rest of the property just for us, of course. And I probably won't show that part of it. That's not really farming content, I wouldn't say. But anyways, we also got that to do this spring. This has got to be done like ASAP. So I'm hoping to get this done this weekend. And then this right behind me, where the ladies are, you guys know that we're going to plant here. So with me and my wife's already been talking about what we're planting and how we want to plant it. So we'll be tilling through that and starting to plant here. But first, before we do that, we've got to stretch this fence, put a gate in to keep animals out of here as well. So we will have a total of 3 gates in this little spot here. Now, what this will allow us to do, at some point, what we'll do too, is we'll buy one more little bitty gate. We're only using like 4-foot wide gates on the little parts. Just trying to keep it to a minimum. I don't like having big openings in a fence. We are using the gates that you buy from Tractor Supply. I mean, for $100 you can buy a gate. I can't build it for that with my time and lumber, especially the way the price of lumber is right now. I'll spend just about as much in lumber trying to build the gate and everything as I would just going and buying a prefab, just to be honest with you. Especially the 10 footer I got up there that I got for $160. I mean, you can't beat that. So that's kind of what we're doing today. So let's get started on this, and I'll kind of bring you guys along for a little bit of this, and you can kind of see where we are and growing. Really hoping to get our goats soon. So let's get started. Let's try that again. So it's now, it's a little later in the day since I first talked to you guys this morning. After a little bit of camera malfunction, and about an hour later, we got this one all buttoned up and tight. And let's see here. As you can see down through there. So essentially what we've done, let me turn on around here. You guys can take a look right there. So we put our fence post in here, and then what we done over here. Now, like I said, this is how we done it. This is not what you have to do. This don't look the best, but it gets the job done. So we don't have to stretch it real tight. We just got to get it snug, and then we can tighten it on up by doing that. So, got all that one completed, and then now we're going to start the next one. So, I'll try to take you guys along for that one. And we still got quite a bit of fencing left to do. Trying to string it tight. You can see we done some bracing right there. Now they do make things for those where you can actually set them up to where they will actually lock onto these other T-posts. And then you put a T-post on the ground. Let me get a shot of that. So put a T-post actually to another T-post, and it locks into place. The only reason I didn't do that is it would have costed me probably another $200 to $300 just to do all my corners. So, because you only get like a couple per bag, and they're quite expensive. I know Tractor Supply they're around $20 a bag. So we didn't do it that way just for that fact. Not trying to get away cheaply because I want a good fence, but on the flip side, I don't want to spend, you know, a day's wages on fence post locks, you know, to brace it. As long as this fence is good and tight, to me, it don't have to look absolutely wonderful. It just has to be functional and keep the animals in. Not to say I don't want it to look good, I do, but I'm not a professional person when it comes to fencing. There's guys out there that do that for a living that are a lot better than me. But if you're on a budget like I am, you don't have $20,000 to spend on a fence that covers 2 acres. So, not to say that's what the price would be, but it will be up there. Usually I know in carpentry, they charge you about double. You got to pay for the materials, and then whatever the materials are, times that by 2 pretty much. So, same thing with fencing. It gets pretty expensive. I mean, because each T-post is close to around like $3 to $4 a piece, and considering I bought almost 100 T-posts, yeah, you do the math. It's pretty expensive. So just this fence here probably ran me around $600. So, and I'm not done yet. So, it's something to keep in mind when you're doing fencing. Something to keep in mind too when you're doing fencing is what kind of animal, how much the animal is going to weigh. You know, I could probably put cows in this right now and they would probably hold. Am I going to do that? Probably not. Just because I don't think cows would survive in here. And they're not really what we're after as far as what we're wanting to put in here. So anyways, I'm going to get to stretching this. I'll show you guys a little bit more after we stretch the rest of this fencing. Hopefully we can get it done today. And hopefully I can show you the final product. So as you see, what we done on this one is we set a corner post for our ratchet strap to hold to, and then we just ratchet it in place and get it tight. And what we'll do is we'll go down this fence line, and then we'll start applying the pieces. Now I don't know the technical term, but we'll be applying the wire to hold it to the fence post. So this is one way you can do it if you don't have a way to anchor it like a large fence post and stretch it around, because you know there is quite a bit of pressure on those large poles that you get. So this is how I've come up with doing it. Not to say it's, like I said before, the correct way, but it is one way you can do it other than spending $10, $15 on a corner post and a bunch of concrete and having to dig a huge hole. So we'll see how it works out. We'll go ahead and get her clipped in, and I'll show you guys the finished product.